Welcome back to another episode of the Fix Sports Podcast, the realest, blackest, and funniest sports podcast you have ever heard in your entire life. I'm coming straight from the side, going down. Audio shop talk right in your ear hole, brought to you by yours truly, Joseph Ward, right here on the Freedom Train Network at www.freedomtrainradio.com, where we got the greatest podcasting in the history of mankind. And if you don't know, now you know. I got my homegirl shirt on. This Go Beyond Sports, this Keezy Kanye shirt. I know Doc jealous. I know Sam jealous. I know Javard jealous. If they don't have that Keezy Kanye's Go Beyond Sports shirt at GoBeyondSportsNetwork.com, make sure you go check it out. Get yourself a shirt. All right. So I want to give a shout out to Keezy and everything she got going on. Also, remember that the Fix Sports Podcast is brought to you by On the Shoulders of Giants. And On the Shoulders of Giants give you African history at your fingertips and on the go. Our stories from our perspective at your fingertips through the On the Shoulders of Giants book series, the On the Shoulders of Giants blog, the On the Shoulders of Giants app, which is available on the website, www.ontheshoulders1.com, the On the Shoulders of Giants online course, which is available for pre-sale right now. Go to the website, you get the sign up for the online course. It's up for pre-sale. It's going to be live on the 23rd, so make sure you get in where you fit in. The On the Shoulders of Giants nonprofit organization, as well as virtual classes right now with all this Rona going on, so you can still get all the information that you need. www.ontheshoulders1.com, right in your face. We back. Homie don't know how to act. Hey man, y'all know what the problem is? I never remember what number episode I'm on. That's some bullshit, dog. Like, I look it up, and then soon as it's time, I'll be like, I'm on episode number, and I'll be lying to the people.
That just means you got that full catalog, bro. So keep it up, man.
Hey, y'all heard them. Y'all heard them. Quit hey.
Full catalog.
Quit hey. Y'all heard them. So, hey, man, y'all know I got the homeboys back with me. Meshack, Shadrach, and the Bendigo back up in the building with me. Got my homies Sam, Dixie, Doc Love, and Javard Grant back in the house for me. And they helping me break down these brackets. And we are going over the greatest college football teams of the past 40 years. We asked for comments last time. We damn sure got no comments. We got all them comments. I see you, son. But no, some of the interesting comments. The one guy that was talking about Ohio State, he turned out to be a real Ohio State fan. He's like, you guys are SEC homers, and you was like us, what you talking about Ohio State? But okay, but I'm gonna show y'all those as well. But we're getting back in, and we're breaking down the top teams of the past 40 years. And just to recap our teams. From number 16 to number 1 is number 16 team is 97 Michigan. Then we have 05 Texas, 09 Alabama, 87 Miami, 12 Alabama, 08 Oklahoma, 2014 Ohio State, 08 Florida, 2013 Florida, 2018 Clemson, 1996 Florida, 2004 USC, 99 FSU, 99 Nebraska, 2019 LSU, and 01 Miami. Those are the teams that we have. And we have our order. Well, we have our matchups, and we're going 2 matchups per episode. So last episode, we had 2019 LSU versus 2014 Ohio State. Then we had 1995 Nebraska versus 08 Oklahoma. And 2019 LSU advanced over 2014 Ohio State. And 1995 Nebraska advanced over 08 Oklahoma. And remember, we have criteria that we are using to make sure that these teams advance on to the next round, which is margin of victory, number of All-Americans, total defensive rankings, number of players drafted, and total offensive rankings. And we're using them to remove any bias that we have when it comes to advancing these teams forward. Gentlemen, is y'all ready to get it in?
Yep, let's do it, man.
Hey, he did the damn. He did the damn. Hey, y'all crazy, man. All right. So 2018 Clemson. Excuse me, my bad. I'm reading the wrong thing. 05 Texas versus 2012 Alabama. That's where we starting, right? Let me share my screen. let me share my screen real quick so everybody can see what your homeboy is seeing right up in here. All right. So 05 Texas versus 12 Alabama. So, gentlemen, just off of straight commentary, 05 Texas, 12 Alabama, who winning?
I'll jump in there first. Just off of pure memory, I would say 05 Texas, man. I mean, the 12 Alabama team, I mean, they were good, but I didn't even think that was the most memorable Alabama team. That year, like if you remember that year, it was a lot. I want to say it was a lot of upsets with like the around the number 2 seeds.
Yeah.
Notre Dame was number 1, and it was all about who was gonna play them. And Alabama pretty much just ended up being the one team left. That was right, because I think Oklahoma State was a team that year. I just don't remember a lot of the players on Alabama.
Who they played in the championship game?
Alabama did. Oh, Alabama played.
Yeah, they played Notre Dame.
Notre Dame.
Okay.
That was the Mantateo team.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, I think I'm with Sam on this. I think, and not because of, I think because of who Texas beat. Like they beat like that heralded USC team. Like everybody just was.
That USC team was better than that Alabama team.
Yeah, man. I'm like, man, I don't think anybody saw that coming until it happened. I'm like, when I mean, at least I didn't. But I just remember how special that team was, and I'm like, ooh, I didn't see them beating that team, and I remember how great that USC team was. And for this team to beat, I was like, no, this team, yeah, no. I think I'll go 05. I gotta go 05.
What about you, Grant?
A side note before I go with my
side note, face.
2012, Florida State had the number 2 defense in the country, and we were a Jameis Winston true freshman away from playing for that national championship.
Thank you.
Thanks for the reminder, man.
So you got smoke for Jimbo Fisher. What you saying?
Bro, you talk about something that split the fan base.
Right.
Because who they had, EJ, right?
They had EJ, and he was a good quarterback. I mean, Buffalo drafted him in the first round, but
I don't know why.
Yeah, hurt my heart.
Yeah, because that's the year Florida State lost 2 games that year. Florida State they were good enough to compete, and they lost 2 games. And I do remember EJ Manuel losing the game for them. So.
Yeah, but back to the matter at hand: Texas versus Alabama. Texas had a human cheat code in Vince Young.
Hey, Vince was special.
It didn't matter who the opposition was. You got the best player on the field every single game you go into, and he should have won the Heisman Trophy that year.
Man, yeah, we all agree. We all agree because I ain't gonna lie. I thought about this. I thought about this one all week. Like the next matchup, I didn't think about that one that long. But this one, I was thinking about it because the first thing that came to mind was, even though we got this 12 Alabama team on this list, because looking at our criteria and everything, this Bama team wasn't that memorable. And if we're talking about matching up team for team, this 12 Alabama versus this 05 Texas, remember, this is when Alabama was beating people with just running the ball and playing defense. Mm-hmm. Running the ball and playing defense. And this is back when I was like, man, if Alabama ever had a quarterback, they'll never lose.
All right.
Now we see they still did lose a couple times with the quarterback, but still. I just feel like Vince Young would have put this team on his back, and they would have beat the 12 Alabama. And if you go look at the roster, that Texas team actually had some dogs on it. They had some real good players on that team that a lot of people didn't really pay attention to because they went undefeated and they were handling business. And to even be in this game with USC, to even be able to push USC to the brink, because we saw what Vince Young did, but everybody else had to do their job as well. And then, like I said, if you look at the roster, Texas had some players on their squad. So I think we all agree on that.
Yeah, it was a lot of they was all overshadowed by Vince Young, which I mean is understandable. Yeah. But like you said, bro, they had some good players on their roster that was live in college and went on to become good pros.
Right. I know Jamal Charles was on that team. I'm bringing it back up now. I had a misrunning exit out there.
I think for that year, the whole narrative was, is Texas going to stay undefeated so that they can challenge USC? Because the expectation was that USC was going to have their pseudo three-peat.
Right.
They had their split national championship with LSU. Then they actually won the one in 2004 against Oklahoma, and this was going to be their three-peat, which hadn't really been done in a long time, an actual three-peat champion in college football.
Right. Yeah, because nobody. Well, I expected Texas to win, but not a lot of people expected Texas to really be able to compete with USC because I think that year Texas had a lot of close losses, but not especially a lot of the analysts and the media people. They were just like really chalking it up for USC because they was like, there's no way Vince Young can beat these guys, and they was wrong.
And watching that, like I said, even watching that game, to think, I mean, this man single-handedly won the game. Let's just be real.
Yeah.
Like Vince Young beat USC. You know what I'm saying? I mean, when you talk about closer to the end of the game, I'm like, it became like amazing just to watch. I'm like, he's going to win the game. Like they're going to beat this USC nobody saw losing. Like nobody saw them losing this game. Like I said, I didn't see it anyway. But I was like, wait a minute, like this is gonna be something special. Like that game right there, it changed my view of Vince Young like forever. I was like, wow. It was like a wow moment, bro. It really was a wow moment.
Yeah, so people don't really understand how dominant Vince Young was in that game.
Right.
USC had that current year's Heisman Trophy winner in Reggie Bush and the prior year's Heisman Trophy winner in Matt Leinart.
Right.
And Lindell White.
And Vince Young had more passing yards than Matt Leinart and more rushing yards than Reggie Bush, the last two Heisman Trophy winners.
Hey, so
crazy.
There were 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 people off that 05 Texas defense to get drafted into the league. They had 12 players off the defense alone to get drafted into the league. Now, of course, we know all of them weren't starting.
But that's what makes it crazy because it's like you say that, but anytime somebody think about this team, the first thing obviously you're gonna think about is Vince Young, which is understandable, but they still had other really great players.
Bruh, like they had Jamal Charles and Selvin Young in the backfield. Right. And we know what Jamal Charles was. Selvin Young, his NFL career wasn't what Jamal Charles was, but we know what he was. Now, Lyman Swede wasn't like great in the NFL, but Lyman Swede put up some numbers and he got the job done as far as the wide receiver. They receivers wasn't great, but Vince Young did put them in position to win as far as getting the catch and scoring. That, like I said, that 12 Bama, to me, it was defense and running the ball. Like, let me look up their roster real quick.
I just look at that 12. I'm like, I mean, I think there are 12. I think there are 12. I think there are Alabama teams who didn't win at all that would be that 12 team.
2010 Alabama team.
Like they would, yeah, like they would have beat that team. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I
that
mean,
AJ McCarron, that quarterback.
bro,
Yeah.
like Sam said, it wasn't like the
Well,
most memorable Alabama team.
right now, their running game was nice. Now with Eddie Lacy, T.J. Yeldon, and Kenyon Drake, it was nice. But in my opinion, well, they had Amari Cooper, Michael Williams
was
at tight
the guy.
end. Who?
I said Cooper was the guy, but I mean,
was.
outside of that, I mean,
It was their defense.
yeah, I mean, they just would suffocate teams to death. But I mean, like Doc was saying, I mean, like from that stretch, I don't even want to speak of it as past tense because it's kind of still going on. But the stretch of Alabama dominance, like the 2012 team, is like the forgotten team.
It is.
And I think part of the reason why that 2012 team is forgotten is because of who they played in the national championship and how unmemorable it was.
Yeah. Well, you had a good point when you were saying earlier that that's the year that a lot of teams who got up to the number 2 seed lost, and so it was like by default, Notre Dame is here.
Yeah. Notre Dame wasn't good. They just didn't lose any games.
They had to be there.
And then they were propped up because, they're Notre Dame. We're still Notre Dame is one of the winningest programs in all of football.
Right.
They have a bunch of national championships. They got a bunch of Heisman trophies. They got a lot of people who win the NFL and then the College Football Hall of Fame and all that stuff. And we're still living as if that matters.
Yeah, they are.
So treat Notre Dame like the historical presence that they have on the game is relevant to today, regardless of how the team is actually performing on the field.
And I know it's funny, but don't underestimate that Mateo girlfriend stuff that they prop them up, that people want to talk about them.
It did. It got him. It got him. Well, I ain't gonna lie. Teo balled out at Notre Dame. He did ball out at Notre Dame, but the question was, would he be a generational talent in the league? Because that's how they were marketing him. But the real analysts were still questioning his ability as that type of linebacker, and he got drafted as that type of linebacker. But you are right. That stuff did help with the narrative with Notre Dame as well. So
yeah, man, he was good, but they kind of tried to make him like he was like, the second coming of Dick Buckus or something.
They tried to make him have the same impact that kind of like a Tyrann Mathieu had on the game. Mm-hmm. And there was just no reason for Manti Te'o to be at the Heisman Trophy ceremony.
Yeah.
He was there because he played for Notre Dame.
Yeah.
Alabama has never had a line as good as Alabama's been since Nick Saban's been there. They've never had a defensive player be a Heisman finalist.
And they've had a number of linebackers better than Te'o.
Right.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Now the funny part about that though was the media was in on it with his girlfriend as far as like wanting to know who she is and talking about it. And it's like, hold up. This grown man got this girl and you play college football and you cool with being in love with somebody you ain't never seen before?
Yeah, that whole story was crazy, man. It was one of the craziest things I think I can remember in college football, bro. It was like, everybody was talking about, oh my God, it's so sad. His girlfriend died and stuff like that. And then 2 weeks later, it's like, oh, by the way, she never existed. Then it changed from she never existed to, oh, also she never existed, and it was actually a dude.
Yeah.
I missed the dude part. What happened?
Yeah. The dude was catfishing him.
Bro.
Manti
It was
Te'o.
a dude.
Yeah,
I
it
don't
was
know.
a dude
I ain't
catfishing
go
them.
that far.
Yeah.
Not a girl catfishing them. It was a
Manti
dude.
Te'o was the first televised catfish.
First
I knew he got
catfish, bro.
catfish, but I didn't hear the dude part.
The thing
Yeah,
that's
it
so
was a guy.
weird. The thing that's so weird is you big man on campus, but you are not only that, you're upperclassman, so you've been around for a while. People know who you are. You have the pick of the litter as far as it concerns, being able to date someone. And you trying to tell me you couldn't find nobody to date at Notre Dame?
Bruh.
Or the surrounding area, you couldn't find nobody. Not
Dog,
one person.
yeah, but dog, hey, I mean, Notre Dame, you know the Catholic school, they probably ain't popping off like that.
Man. So you talking to me all those brothers at Notre Dame got to have all my girlfriends?
Hey,
Nah, I'm just saying, bro. I'm
They-
just saying.
they dipping their ink in that ink, man.
Hey, Joe, you dumb, man. You dumb. You dumb, bro.
Hey, who that Matt?
Yeah, Matthew, my son, come busting in here.
Ian.
young Eon. Hey man, look.
What's up?
What's up?
Yeah, they just wanted to see how I was doing.
Hey,
They want to give you
But
some
yeah,
more.
didn't Manti Te'o play a game after they said his girlfriend died? Didn't
That
they
was the
sensationalize?
championship game.
Okay.
Wasn't it?
yeah, that was
What
a
is-
championship game.
And he went and played his heart out.
Yeah. Check that out.
And like it was a thing that if I like, because they have those award shows and stuff like that.
Oh, yeah.
The night he won some of the awards was apparently the night that he found out that she never existed or something like that.
Yeah.
I mean, like I said, it was. I mean, and the reason I know so much about it because, like, that thing just fascinated me. I was like, how did this even happen? Like,
Right.
this makes no sense.
Right.
It sounds like something
Right.
out of Hollywood.
Dog, it was, dog. It's like, because my question was, so you're okay with not seeing her? Like, how do you fall? I know why, but I'm still asked, like, how do you fall in love with somebody you will never meet? Because they're not trying to meet you. If you keep trying to meet them, and they always got the excuse why y'all can't meet, they ain't trying to meet you.
Correct.
The whole thing was bonkers, man.
But while Notre Dame is the subject of discussion, they getting their butts trampled.
Yeah, they get.
Now.
This game been over for a while.
Yeah. Ever since Clemson scored that first touchdown, this game was over.
And see, this is what I'm scared about Notre Dame. People actually believe that they belonged in the elite this year
Because they kept winning. And look, man, go look at college football rankings. They got teams who ain't been ranked in 20 years, ranked like number 16. You can't trust none of that stuff this year.
Yeah.
This year a little bit
is
different.
one of them. This year is one of them asterisk years. You know what I mean? It's like
I think
you
Coastal
can
Carolina
win,
was ranked. Yeah, William and
Right.
Mary ranked this year, man.
You
I
can
mean,
win,
like-
but did you really win? You know what I
Right.
mean?
I mean, like, we kind of way off. We way off now, but like they
I
let
know we coming back.
with Florida State, we beat North Carolina. They was ranked number 5. It's no way in hell they was the 5th best team in
They
the
wasn't.
country.
right?
It wasn't.
Not even
wasn't.
close.
And
It wasn't.
and they proved it that night.
Right.
Right.
Them boys ain't been the same since. All right. So let's look at these numbers. Let me share my screen again so we can look at these numberings, taking out all biases. Now, y'all heard us say we think head to head, just off top, we think 05 Texas would beat 12 Alabama. But let's look at the L numbers. So margin of victory, Texas has 33.8, Alabama has 24.4. So Texas gets a heads up in the margin of victory. Number of All-Americans. Texas has 2 consensus All-Americans and 5 total All-Americans. Alabama has 4 consensus All-Americans and 6 total All-Americans. So Alabama get the heads up in number of All-Americans. Total defensive rankings, Texas is number 3. Alabama is number 1. So Alabama is a heads up in total defensive rankings. Number of players drafted, Texas has 19. And I was expecting, I think I was expecting a little more from Texas, but I don't know. I always expect Alabama to have a lot of draft picks, but Alabama get the edge in draft picks with 27 over 19. Total offensive ranking, Texas is number 3, Alabama number 39. Texas points per game was ranked number 1 with 50.2. Total yards per game at 512.1 was ranked number 3. Passing yards per game, 237.2, ranked 40th. And rushing yards per game, 274.9, ranked number 2. Alabama ranked 39th overall. Points per game. Damn, they scored that many points per game with AJ McCarron. Okay, so
get the ball off, man.
38.7, which was ranked 12. Total yards per game, 444. Like Jay-Z album, 0.5, was ranked number 39. Passing yards per game, 218, which is ranked 76, and rushing yards per game, 226, which ranked 17th. So, according to our numbers, that would give 2012 Alabama the victory over 05 Texas because Alabama gets the edge in number of All-Americans, total defensive rankings, and number of players drafted, while Texas got the edge in margin of victory and total offensive rankings. So, don't be mad at us to say, you guys got it wrong. It was
Stop the press. Stop the press, bro.
Uh-oh.
What happened?
Wait a minute. So, we said what? 2012?
According to our criteria.
In 2012, over 05.
But Doc, I think
we gotta throw it.
I think what just happened goes to show it's the Vince Young thing, man. I mean, he was that good. That not to say that the rest of the team wasn't good, but the memory of Vince Young
everything else,
putting that team on his back, it elevates what you think of that team. And then, like what Javard was saying, the way the season was for Alabama, they were just kind of steady along, and then they played Notre Dame, who everybody knew wasn't any good, and just crushed them. So it just boils out to like, well, they weren't. It was a team, but when you look at the numbers, I mean, they was just as dominant as all the other Alabama teams.
Yeah.
From an offensive standpoint, Alabama was just mediocre.
Yeah.
They had the number 1 defense. So it didn't matter that they had an average quarterback and their offense overall was average from, a total yardage production standpoint. You weren't going to score on them. And it doesn't matter what they do on offense if you're not going to score on them.
Now back in the days, and they had a secondary too.
That season, Alabama had 4 shutouts. 4.
I always thought of Alabama like the bring on with the analogy. I always thought of Alabama as like, they was like a boa constrictor. I mean, like they weren't gonna be razzle dazzle, but they were just gonna slowly choke you down, and eventually you're gonna die.
You nasty, Maurice.
Something wrong with you, bro. Something wrong with you, bro.
Your mind went to 6.
Bro, something is wrong with you, bro. Something wrong with you, bro.
Nah, man.
Alabama hit them with a snake, huh?
Yeah, something wrong with you, bro.
Oh man, I ain't talking about that kind of boa constrictor.
Let's get back to the thing, bro.
Hey, all right. So, like you say, but John, you was like, you had something to say about it though.
No. I mean, listen.
Say what you got to say. Get off your chest.
Listen. All right. Based on criteria, Yes. Yes, they win. And we going off criteria. Stats, numbers, yada, yada, yada. On the field, if we plan this out, I don't think that team beat 05. I just don't.
I agree.
I don't see it, bro.
I agree.
I don't see. I mean, and I could
Vince
be
Young
wrong.
effect, man.
It is, bro. And
Now-
it's like
now,
you
dog.
said, it's the numbers.
He's going.
It's the criteria. It's the criteria based on criteria. We're trying to keep it uniform, stick to the numbers, stick to the stats. But if, like we said in the opening argument, nobody picked Alabama. I think that says a lot.
Right. Now it
But
does.
here, this goes back to what this actual bracket is all about. Who is the best team? Now who got the best stats?
Right.
Now who got the best stats? Who is the best team? Is 05 Texas better than 2012 Alabama? Ask Maurice Love. The answer is yes, they are. And just me.
Hey, dog.
Who got better stats? Who's statistically better? We talking about stats now. We talking about
But that's how you measure it. That's how you measure it.
Yeah.
But when we're talking about if we, like just what we said, if we saw this on the field, we no stats. All we saw was them play every game, every season. Both teams, we didn't know what the stats were. If we put them right across from each other and say, okay, here we go. We got 4 quarters, play football. What team you picking?
I'm gonna pick 05 Texas.
And that's what I'm saying.
I think most people would.
Now,
that's what I'm saying. We talking about the best team. Are we talking about best team or best stats?
we're talking about.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna say but the thing is, I hear what you're saying, but even then, like let's say if we do play it out, I mean, based on those numbers, you could make an argument that their defense might have something for Vince Young.
Yeah.
And they very well may. But if you felt that way, you would have said in the beginning, Alabama is going to beat them.
Well,
you said, no, I got Alabama.
I hear what you're saying.
Nobody feels that way in here, right?
Right. Now, I do hear what you're saying. Now, let me throw this at you.
All right.
Before 05 Texas played 05 SC, before they played, which team you thought was better?
USC.
Right.
But because I saw them, I didn't know the numbers. I saw them.
But even the eye test and the numbers was better.
USC.
Right. He said what he's saying is you got that same dynamic happening here. Everybody before going into the game saying, 05 Texas. And then I mean, we didn't play the game, but looking at the data, it says Alabama. And it's like, well, wait a minute. That same kind of thing happened. That same kind of thing happened with 05 Texas against 05 SC. But going into that game, everybody was like, how is, because like they was doing stuff. They was doing shows like this, talking about 05 SC playing against the best college teams ever.
SC's numbers was better than Texas. I mean, I don't know. I'm really asking. I don't know.
Yeah.
And I'm in Matt Leiner's camp. Even after the game, I still think USC is the better team.
And Texas just won, right?
Texas just won.
A lot of people
it was their day. It was their day.
They was up by 2 scores with 3 minutes left in the game. And Vince Young did what Vince Young does.
Yep, the defense got some stops, and Vince did his thing.
You got to give Pete Carroll the assist though, because with that, when they went for it on 4th down,
Reggie Bush on the sideline.
Yeah,
you get Reggie Bush
exactly. You got the Heisman Trophy winner, right? At least have him on the field to do the give him a threat.
If you give Reggie Bush the ball in space, he is going to get you a yard.
Yeah.
If he gives you that yard, Texas is
Game
not,
over.
Texas is not even on this chart, probably. In
Right.
this, ranking, this bracket.
But I love it though. That's why we. But
Hey, you
that's
gotta
why
throw
we
it
do
out
the
there, bro.
criteria. But that's why the criteria mixed with the commentary make this shit good. Because we know what we think, but we know we set a specific criteria to take out our biases, so we can kind of let it flow as organically as possible. So when we come with our winner, we can't really be mad. You might not agree with it, but you can't be mad because you went with the criteria. So, all right. So with that
I'm
being,
mad, man.
I know it's all good. Hey, bro, it's all good,
Dang, I'm
B.
mad, man.
It's all good, B. All right. So next, we got this matchup. This is it's gonna be one of my favorite matchups. 0-1 Miami versus 0-8 Florida. Ooh, shoot. All right.
This is the first round?
First round, B. First round, B.
The Florida team is lower because they got that loss.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep. So
Ah,
these two teams meet. One-on-one game. I'm talking about one-on-one. Neutral field. One game, neutral field. Who wins?
0-1.
Joe out here comparing tennis teams.
Oh man.
You say 0-1? My 0-1. Oh, Miami. All right.
I don't even want to elaborate why. I just say 0-1.
I agree with Doc. I will elaborate a little bit. The Miami team, man, they just was uber talented. I think when you talk to most people, that's one of the teams that comes up as like the best team ever, and understandable why. I mean, like they set records for like players being drafted and all that stuff. They was just unstoppable. I mean, the 0-8 Florida team, I mean, that's probably definitely the best Florida team ever.
Yeah.
If not for that loss, they would be in that conversation that one of the teams that people talk about because they were really good. But I mean, that Miami team just was they was on another level, man.
Yeah.
The thing about that team that was kind of stood out was the fact that was their first year head coach. And as soon as they didn't play for the national championship, they fired him.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
He was
Larry Coker.
For the most part, Larry Coker was their chaperone.
Yeah.
Because they needed adults to sign certain papers.
Yeah. Yeah. They were cheated at that 0-2 championship. That wasn't no damn pass interference, man. They were cheated out of that. But look, man, I think everybody already know who I'm going with. That 0-1 Miami. Look, the depth of the team. Look at the roster. The depth of the team. Like Ed Reed said, I was watching the interview he was having with the buddy. Sean Taylor was his backup. Vince Wilfork didn't start. Did you hear what I just said? Vince Wilfork, who's gonna be in the Hall of Fame. Y'all, if you're watching NFL, you saw what he did. He didn't start on this team. Like you had Clinton Portis, Frank Gore, and Willis McGahee at running back. Yeah, Andre Johnson at receiver, at one of the receivers. Who else? Go ahead.
Andre Johnson backing up Reggie Wayne before he left.
Right.
That's crazy.
Yeah, Jeremy Shockey at Kellen Winslow Jr. was backing up Jeremy Shockey.
Hey,
so
man.
This team was loaded. Now,
bruh, listen.
That weak spot quarterback. He wasn't trash, but he wasn't great.
Yeah. But to me, that says even more about the team. Like to have a mediocre to subpar quarterback and still be that dynamic of a team is outrageous. And when I was talking about not even elaborate, I didn't want to elaborate, right? But you, Joe, you went there. You went there, we going there.
Let's go.
Everybody they had on the bench. Let's talk about the people that had on the bench.
Yeah,
Willis McGahee.
Any other school they go to,
they started.
listen, I don't care who
Frank
on the
Gore.
field. Come on. Whoever on the field is coming off for the people they got on the bench.
Yeah, Antrell Rowe was on the bench.
Sean Taylor.
Yeah.
On the bench.
Man, come
Mike
on,
Rumph
man.
on the bench.
Come on, man.
Jalen
You
Winslow
talking about
on the bench.
arguably two of the best safeties to ever touch and grace a football field.
Right.
Ever. And they both on the same team. One of them on the pine. We talking about to ever grace a football field.
Right.
That
Man.
01 team was that team was disrespectful, bro. That team was disrespectful.
It was. To me, like I just watching them. I one thing about that team is I guess it's as a bias and special to me. That was our senior in high school. So
yeah,
playing D and I know Sam can relate because me and Sam we had these conversations all the time, and it was that 01 team. Like we were trying to beat them on defense at DB. That was our standard. So whatever. So they went out there and shut it down. Us as DBs, we like, hey, if they can do that, we can do that. So that's how we thought. That was our mentality. Is like we modeling ourselves after this 01 Miami secondary because y'all can't do nothing with these boys. Like that's how special them boys was to me, man. Like it was amazing.
As a diehard, you know, we all me, Grant, Sam, we all diehard Seminoles, right? As a diehard Seminole, I can honestly say I have it's hard for me to respect, you know, and watch Hurricanes dog us and stuff like that. You know what I mean? But I have that much respect for them, that team, for those guys, for those players that were on that team, because of just how their sheer greatness. That team was great. It was full of greatness, bro. Like we ain't talking about just good, what like greatness. Yeah. We ain't talking about just even at the collegiate level, like they took it to the next level. We're talking about greatness. And I look at them guys, I'm like, man, like even at the time, I don't think we knew what we were witnessing. Like to say this far along, I'm like, man, that's crazy.
Yeah, man, they set a standard. They set a standard so high that the current Miami teams, they will never be able to live up to that because every time somebody say Miami is back, we know what they're talking about. We know which team they talk about. They talk about this 01 because that's the standard. So when they say Miami is back, they looking at that, and that's why they Miami is no, they not because we know you got to be 3 deep with NFL talent to be this team.
Man.
Yeah. From Miami, there is the 80s and 90s Miami, and then there is the 01 Miami.
Right.
And then for us, for Florida State, there is the 14 straight top 5 finishes Florida State, and then there's the 2013 Florida State. When it's 2030, everybody's going to be looking at the 2013 Florida State team as that's the team that is our measuring stick
compared to.
And this is the same thing for Miami is that 01 team. It was that great.
Yeah. I didn't expect them boys to lose one game at all, and they didn't. Dominated like all phases of the game. Like Ed Reed loved being on the punt receiving team. Punt return, and he did. I felt like, and I don't want to speak for him, but I felt like he enjoyed having his hand in the dirt and going after knocking that ball down more so than he did returning punts. And he could do both.
He just was a playmaker, man. He just was a playmaker. But
instant offense.
And the thing to remember about this team, bro, is that they had a huge chip on their shoulder from the year before because they got left out of the title game because it was the BCS and they actually beat Florida State, but Florida State wound up playing in the title game in 2000. So they felt like that should have been them. So they just went on straight up. They just went on straight revenge tour.
Yeah.
Yeah, Florida State just happened to have the better loss that year. That's how they got into the game. And I remember Miami had lost early in the year in 2000 to Washington. And so they had that return game in 2001 against Washington, and they beat
the brakes off,
65-7.
They beat the brakes off them boys.
Brakes.
And Washington was ranked 11th in the country at the time. 65-7.
They wanted to erase all the doubt.
Right.
Yeah. So they beat Penn State 33-7, Rutgers 60-0, Pitt 43-21, Troy 38-7, Florida State 49-27, West Virginia 45-3, Temple 38-0. The Boston College was not a great win, but it was 18-7. Then they came back, beat Syracuse 59-0, Washington 65-7, Virginia Tech 24-11, and Nebraska 37-14.
Yeah, that Boston College game, it was cold. Them boys ain't used to that cold weather. And it's Boston College. You think you just gonna roll in there and just handle business and move on to the next week. And then they got caught slipping. They got caught slipping. And they managed to squeak out of there with a victory. And you see what happened after that. Beat the brakes off everybody until they got to that Virginia Tech game.
Yeah.
Which was was going to be their toughest opponent all year because that was the Mike Vick team.
Right. Yeah. Right. All right. So what about this 08 Florida team though? Like now we all agree that 01 Miami would beat 08 Florida team, but this 08 Florida team ain't nothing to sneeze at though. This is the team where Tim Tebow had his famous speech. We're never gonna lose again. And I'm gonna buy you guys Chick-fil-A on Sundays, and we're gonna have curly fries, and we're gonna pray every Tuesday, and we're gonna eat dates and walk with our feet in the sand and all that stuff he was saying. So now, in my opinion, I remember me and Chaka was working at Goodwill. And it was mid-season, and I'm looking at Chaka, and I'm like, bruh, because we're watching the game. We're watching the game at work. Now we at work and we're watching the game now. Tell you how much we didn't work at the Goodwill. Right?
Oh man.
But I'm just looking at all three phases of the game though. Florida had a hell of a defense that year. Their offense was good, and their special teams was solid. And I was like, bro, I think this team can do what the 06 team. I mean, the 06 team did. I think these boys can win it. Like Tim, because this was Tim Tebow's like historic year, wasn't it? Or was it the next year?
No, 07
to his Heisman year.
Yeah,
that was 07.
Yeah. 07. Okay. But they had everything clicking this year. And to me, I was just like, this Florida team, they're gonna win it. They're gonna win it because I didn't see anybody beating them because all three phases of the game, I felt like they were going to be the superior team on the field. That's how I felt about this team. So
they roster was stacked too, man.
It was.
The thing that make anybody immediately go to 01 Miami though is they lost to Ole Miss. They lost to Ole Miss.
Yeah.
Like this wasn't even like, I mean, not even Ole Miss with Eli Manning, like Ole Miss.
Yeah.
with insert player number 12.
Right, exactly. Like,
Especially
I mean,
knowing what the
that
game,
made no
especially knowing what
sense.
they had.
Yeah.
Especially knowing what the 08 had, like to lose that game, it was like, how? You know what I mean?
Right. So Tim
They
Tebow.
were loaded.
Yeah.
And the game was at home. How you lose at
It was loaded, bro. Like, how do you like? It was
Hey,
loaded.
the SEC was lucky. The SEC was lucky. Cam Newton wasn't that smart back then.
Oh my God!
Imagine Cam Newton following Tim Tebow.
Jeez.
Every time I think about it as a Florida State fan, I'm just like, oh, I'm so glad he stole them laptops. Cause bruh.
L's for us.
It was,
L's.
3 years of just continued embarrassment.
No, that Auburn team
Right.
was not good. I
No.
still remember that DB Matt Caleb. Trash Caleb. No. Cam, you thought what Vince Young did was amazing. It was. But it wasn't more daunting and more heroic than what Cam Newton did. Because that 05 Texas team was way better than that. What, that was 10 Auburn? 2010
Yeah.
Auburn? That 05 Texas team was way better than that 2010 Auburn team. Nick Fairley was so good, and he knew he was so good, but he was so lazy. He was good and trash at the same time.
Good and trash.
This is what you need to know about that Cam Newton Auburn team.
Yeah.
2009 Auburn, 75. 2010 Auburn, national championship.
National champ.
2011 Auburn, 75.
75.
12 Auburn, fire the coach.
Out of here.
Hey.
Get out of here.
Who was that? Gus Malzahn?
Yeah.
That was Gene Chizik.
Gene Chizik. Okay, Gene Chizik. Man.
But man, like I said, man, I'm just glad they found out about them laptops, bro. Cause if I'd have had to sit through 3 seasons of that boy running all over the Seminoles, man, I just got done with watching dang on quote unquote Jesus in cleats.
Hey,
chilling for 4 years.
Right.
But remember, Vern Lundquist slurped Tebow for 3 hours.
Yeah.
Put your head down, Vern. Hey, but remember, this was also the year of what was that? Rainey, Demps, and Harvey.
Demps and Harvey.
On the field at the same time. Now the one problem was they all was the same player.
Right.
But to have 3 of them motherfuckers at the same time was special.
Crazy, bro.
That shit was crazy. Special. Demps, Rainey, and Harvey.
Didn't that team have Hernandez?
That was
yeah. They had Aaron Hernandez. And Riley Cooper.
Cooper.
And we didn't go to the defense.
Right.
Riley.
And we didn't go to the defense, bro.
Oh, they had the Pouncey twins at the time as well.
They had
on their line,
team, right?
Right.
Yeah, to KL.
They was loaded.
The defense, bro. They had Hayden. They had Major Wright, Spikes.
Yeah, Joe Hayden. Yeah.
Carlos Dunlap.
Channing Crowder was in the league by that time, right?
Janoris Jenkins.
Yeah, hey,
bro, they had Janoris Jenkins and Joe Hayden at corner.
Right, and yes. They shouldn't have lost the game because they whole secondary went to the league. Their whole starting secondary.
Hey, what that bench look like though?
Oh man,
all right.
Hey, us 4 second string. Me and Javard Grant.
Bro, let's go down to who was on the bench, bro. Who was on their bench, bro?
Well,
who's on the bench?
Us.
Right.
Urban Meyer was out there in about 2 years, right? So that let you know where the bench was.
Nobody.
After teams, Urban Meyer got the hell up out of there.
Listen,
his chest hurt.
Listen. All right. Look at. Never mind. We ain't got there yet. I'll wait.
Say it. You might transition to it.
0-1 bench versus UF starters.
0-1 bench. As far as defense,
See, now y'all just being disrespectful.
Yeah.
You gonna take out all of Miami's.
I mean,
hey, put 0-1 bench on the field versus 0-8 starters.
well, I put it like this: 08 Florida's receivers were not good. Percy Harvin was a game breaker. Dempsey and Rainey were game breakers. But as I was thinking about that, Miami had the talent to play with them boys, though. They had the talent to.
But see, if you take it to the next level, and you talking about if they was on the bench, chances are you talking about them and they freshmen and sophomore state going up against juniors and seniors.
Lewis
Murphy. They was talented.
Was
talented, but I don't know, man.
Riley Cooper. Riley Cooper was crafty. I give him that. He wasn't good. He was crafty.
Now you know that's cold for you white.
Good.
But no, right,
The only player who was comparable was
trying to do that
at Texas.
Say it again.
I said the only player that was comparable to Riley Cooper was Jordan Shipley at Texas.
What about your boy that came out of Clemson? What his name?
Winfro?
Yeah. But nah, man, look, like let's look, man, like Tim DeWhite. Remember Tim DeWhite from Iowa? Tim DeWhite was fire.
Tim DeWhite playing this.
Hey, yeah, I was gonna say he was not crafty.
He wasn't no.
He was fast and he was fine.
He was just gonna run by you.
He wasn't no McGriff.
Nah, he wasn't no Fred McGriff was fire. He was.
Riley Cooper played outside though. He was a real wide receiver.
Yeah.
He was still. Don't matter. Keep going.
I want to give you words.
He was still a Republican.
There you go, Michael Vick. He's sorry. Shut your ass up, Michael. Ain't nobody asked you.
Hey, babe. Hey, hold on. We do all this talking. When we get to these stats, if 08 come out, I'm done. I'm telling you.
Hey.
I'm telling you now. I'm telling you now, if 08 come out, I'm leaving.
That's the beauty of what we do. So with that being said, let's get to these statistics. All right. So margin of victory. 01 Miami, 33. 08 Florida, 30.7. Number of All-Americans. Consensus All-Americans. Miami 2, total 5. Florida, 08 Florida, 2 consensus All-Americans, 4 total All-Americans. Total defensive ranking, 01 Miami, number 1, 08 Florida, number 4. Number of players drafted, 01 Miami, 33, 08 Florida, 18. Total offensive rankings, 01 Miami, number 8, with points per game. They had 43.2 points per game, which number 3 ranking. Total yards per game is 454.8, which is number 8 ranking. Passing yards per game, 250.2, 35th rank. Rushing yards per game, 201, 21st rank. 2015 Florida, they are total offensive ranking is 15th. Points per game, 43.6, number 4 ranking. Total yards per game, 445, which is a 15th rank. Passing yards per game, 213.9. which is ranked 61st, and rushing yards per game, 231.1, which is ranked 10th. So 01 Miami win. They have the highest margin of victory, most number of All-Americans, highest total defensive ranking, more players drafted, and the higher total offensive ranking. So 01 Miami moves on to the next round with our first sweep of the tournament. Miami swept Florida in all categories. And as of so far, 01 Miami has the highest number of players drafted so far.
Oh, but wait a you just wait. You just wait.
Oh,
You just wait.
okay. Because
You
next
just
week,
we
wait.
getting there next week.
You just
Hey,
wait, boy.
I need all my Florida State and all my Florida
You
fans.
just
I
wait.
need y'all to tune in. I need all my Florida State and Florida fans to tune in.
My dog
Next
said
week,
You see my dog shirt? No,
Next
hey,
week.
you just wait. You just wait.
next week we got 2013 Florida State versus my personal favorite Florida team, 1996 Florida. Then next week we also have 2018 Clemson versus 1997 Michigan to see who moves on to the next round. And you better go ahead and get down. One time for Miami. So everybody happy with the results? Ain't no pushback. No. Everybody like, no, I should have pulled out. No.
Nah, I think like yeah, we all pretty much expected that, man. I mean, that Miami team, that's like a legacy type team.
Legacy, bro.
Yeah. And I think everybody knows how we feel about them. So, hey, man, y'all leave y'all comments. This time, be respectful in the comments. Ain't nobody talking about your mama specifically. Chill out. Chill out, child. Comment, boy. Chill out. So, but leave your comments. Tell us what you think. We love the commentary. We might disagree, but keep it clean because nothing is malicious. We might have different opinions, but trust me, nothing is malicious. We may not. We just disagree. So I know we had somebody last time who was who is an Ohio State fan who was saying basically we were SEC homers because in the commentary we were saying that 2019 LSU would beat 2014 Ohio State, and one of their main points was, well, look at the quarterbacks that they had before Joe Burrow, and I'm like, well, that's cool and all, but that doesn't
2019.
that doesn't negate what happened in 2019.
Right.
This man had arguably the greatest single season from a quarterback in college football history. None of those Ohio State quarterbacks had that.
And by arguably, you mean the best.
Right.
Right. Yeah,
like that team was on.
Bro, it ain't nothing against what you thought or what you believe for or your Ohio State, bias. But I mean, bro, we talking about 1 year. We talking about Joe Burrow's 2019 season. Like, I don't know what the argument is beyond that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Statistically, just go look and compare it to whoever you thinking about. So,
because I mean, let's just also look at the quarterbacks. The quarterbacks before him, when they went on to the next level, like the Bengals expect Joe Burrow, they really expect him to change around the franchise. Like, and Joe Burrow was actually playing well. So Joe Burrow has even gotten off to a better start in the league than quarterbacks before him.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. I mean, LSU, that was the one thing that was kind of really holding them back was they had athletes all over the field, but they could never find a quarterback.
Yep.
They were always, in the top 10 with recruiting.
Right. Like, to me, 3 teams, and somebody might be like, you're an SEC person, but let's just be real. Outside of Spurrier, people in the SEC really didn't throw the ball around. So in that heyday, Florida, LSU, and Alabama, because the recruits that they get and the talent that they keep, if they just keep a consistently good quarterbacks, they will be in the race for it every year. Same thing with Florida State. But Florida State has to get back up to where they're getting all the talent. But just keep a good quarterback amongst all that talent, and you're gonna be in there every year. So, all right. So I forgot to talk about my weekly rant in the beginning. I was excited. I ain't gonna lie, I was excited. But we do got a weekly rant, and this week's weekly rant, we're aiming at that Kyrie Irving. It's Kyrie. Oh yeah, and this I remember some stuff Kyrie been saying, but Kyrie did some stuff lately that I'm just not finding out about. So I'm gonna kick this one to Sammy Lee and Sam. What the hell Kyrie done did this time?
So, Buddy, this time, of course, he was on the Celtics. Now he on the Nets. They had a game against the Celtics in Boston, and Buddy decides to walk around burning sage, just walking around burning it throughout the building. And people was wondering, what is he doing? They asked him about it, and he's saying he's like trying to cleanse the spirit or whatnot. And I'm like, bruh, this guy, my thing with him is like that he wants so badly people to see him as some type of like, you know, intellectual eccentric character, but nobody, you just, this stuff you doing just looks make you look silly.
Hey, man, look here. You reminded me of some stuff. So we're gonna get on his ass about that. We're gonna break that down. But the flat earth comments, that was the first step. That was his first strike, them flat earth comments. But not only that, the reason why he wanted to leave Cleveland, then he come back saying, making comments about, hey, I'm finally on the team with somebody who I feel can close the game out. And just a lot of stuff he's been doing, a lot of stuff he's been saying. Comments, hey, we don't need a coach. Kyrie, when the last time your ass led a team anywhere near a championship? That's what I want to know. Like, you're not as good as you think you are. You're not on the, first of all, you are an amazing talent. You're an amazing talent. But your ass ain't nowhere in LeBron's class. Nowhere. This man is coming into year 18 expected to win the MVP and the championship. Your ass about 10 years younger. We expecting you to have a fantastic season, and we expect KD to lead you all to the championship. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Kyrie, he wants to be, or I think he views himself as an artist, right? And basketball, the NBA, that's his canvas. And for you to create art on your canvas, you actually have to have some paint. And if you ain't playing, what kind of art are you supposed to be creating? And the work that you did before, like the work that you're not Dave Chappelle. You know, the work that you did before isn't equal to the Chappelle show. So you can't just go away and just come back and think that, you know, everyone's going to just accept you for who you are.
Yeah. What you got to say, Doc?
Nothing.
So you think the earth flat too, huh?
Nothing, man. That been crazy, man.
Hey, dog. Look. One of the things that really had me side-eyeing, buddy, was when they were saying that, well, him mostly saying we don't really need a coach. Of course, he backpedaled on that. But them saying, he's saying don't need a coach. And that's why I go back to, why do you feel like you don't need a coach? Like, what have you done as a leader to make you feel like you are superior? Your talent is so superior, your intellect is so superior that you don't need a coach. We remember what Cleveland was when you was the leader. Right. Guess what happened? Y'all last got LeBron back.
Mm-hmm.
And y'all I remember that year, y'all number one pick was, we don't even know that nigga name.
Right. Who was that? Who was that?
Chris. His name Chris, ain't it?
Nah, Anthony Bennett.
Yeah.
See, Eddie Bennett, bro. See?
But yeah, Doc. I mean, Kyrie, Doc, he cause he like one of the guys that he and a lot of players look up to was Kobe Bryant. And you know, Kobe Bryant known, you know, not only for, you know, his basketball, but for his thoughtfulness. And he just wants to be viewed that way. But the things he says, like I said, it's just like that. It's like you just saying them to be controversial. I mean, like, because Kobe didn't really say I mean, he didn't say controversial stuff. Now he had the incident in Colorado, but he didn't say controversial things. I mean, he said things that were genuinely thoughtful. This guy just saying stuff, man, just to seem like I said, it seems like he wanted to just make you think he, eccentric or something like that.
You ever meet people who just desire to they want to feel like they just different, like they want you to feel like they outside of the box. Like that's who Kyrie is to me. Like, and he has these little antics, he says these little things to make it seem like, dang, Kyrie different. Like Kyrie don't think like, nah. And Kyrie does that stuff. I think Kyrie do a lot of that, to keep attention on him. He might not admit to that, but I think Kyrie do a lot of that stuff to try to keep attention on himself. Like even just what we were saying about the Sage thing, I mean, he may be totally into trying to clear spirits out and stuff like that, but I don't think he like strategically didn't do it when he not knowing people around to see it. You know what I'm saying? Like you could do that first thing in the morning, ain't nobody in there. You know what I'm saying? Or late at night, you got it, man. I don't know. Nah, don't ask me.
So does Newport Smoke work just as effective as Sage? I know I'm joking. Now, okay. So from an esoteric and that point of view, I get what he was doing. Like I get where he's coming from with using the sage to try to cleanse things. Now, my thought with that, and I could be wrong, but it's just how my brain works. Like if I'm a spirit and like I'm a spirit with some power behind myself, sage ain't gonna keep me away. Like it's like you like think about I'm gonna sage the devil. Like, and we remember how if we going up the same devil that they came from the Bible, and he's supposed to be the second most powerful being that ever created. How sage keep that away?
You thinking about it the wrong way. It might be like they can't help but be kept away. It's just like with Superman, his kryptonite. I mean, it's Superman, but a little teeny itty bitty rock, and it just take him out.
Well, if you okay, you get a point. You get 10 points for creativity. You get that. I like that. But no, I do get that. Like I say, I'm not saying I'm right, but those are thoughts that I have. And if I'm wrong, hey man, y'all just tell me I'm wrong. It's all good. I don't mind being wrong on that. But I do, like I said, I do get it behind that, but I just know my thoughts with that. Because right now, saging has become trendy. Mm-hmm. That's another thing. Like we used to cook with it. Like we still cook with it in our house, like with sage and stuff, because we always used it. So I'm not knocking anybody who do it, but just
no, not at all.
Kyrie Irving overall is special. It's like, and I don't want to say this in a disrespectful manner, but imagine Gucci Man trying to beat 3,000. That's kind of like how I feel like with Kyrie. Like when you say he's trying to be Kobe, it's like Gucci Man trying to be 3,000. Like you're good at what you do. You're good in your lane. Stay in your lane. Stop trying to be this because you're not.
And the thing about with the sage, I mean, because like you said, it's plenty of people that do it, as a part of like a religion and whatnot. Mm-hmm. But like, I don't recall ever having either hearing about him doing this or seeing him doing this. So why all of a sudden now?
Well, especially people are going to look at you sideways. And preface this, I'm not saying he's wrong for doing it. I'm not saying he can't do it. But let's just be real. People are going to look at you in a different way if you're doing that before the games.
Yep. Yeah.
So. And it just doesn't help that he ain't really been a winner since like 2016.
That's the greatest point.
And when you winning, if LeBron James would be doing this, it'd be happening. Companies who sell sage, their stock price would be going up because of LeBron James doing it.
Yeah.
But because of Kyrie Irving, you've been who you've been from a media relations perspective the last couple of years, and you're not playing and winning. Team is winning in spite of you.
That Boston team, Jason Tatum's rookie year, they were better off without him.
Went to Game 7, Eastern Conference Finals.
They were better off without him. I know he had to feel like boo-boo.
And he wasn't even on the sidelines cheering his team on.
Because remember, he had just left Cleveland to go to his own team to lead them. And they were supposed to play, they were supposed to meet LeBron, and it just didn't happen. I mean, but that's my thing though. Like with Kyrie is first of all, going back to 2015 when he hit the game-winning shot. I think he forget how he was in position to hit the shot. LeBron had just scored the last 6 points to get y'all in position, making plays to get you all in position. And we know Skip Bayless, old delusional ass, keep acting like Michael Jordan never had help to hit shots. And Kyrie did this. Yes, Kyrie hit the shot, but we all know Kyrie wasn't gonna put them in position to be able to hit the shot to win the game. So let's stop that.
Right.
People want to ignore the triple-double that LeBron James had to average to get them to a Game 7. And just give Kyrie credit for the shot.
Right. And but people also look at he averaged like close to 40 points. Or he was getting 40-point games. But that's what he was supposed to do in his role as a scorer. But LeBron James was asked to do more. Let's be real.
Like I said, man, he just wanted so bad to be seen as like a Kobe Bryant type.
Right.
So it's just, but
and he's trying his best. Right.
He's trying his
best. And it come off as weird to me. It's weird. I don't get it.
And he gonna have to try real hard if Brooklyn becomes what Brooklyn thinks they can be, because KD finna get all that shine.
Look at him.
Yeah.
Look at him. Look, we all know Brooklyn's playoff success and how deep they go into the playoffs. Yes, Kyrie is a part of that, but it's based off of how healthy KD is. Let's just be real.
Yeah. I mean, if KD 100%, man, I mean, you got Milwaukee, but I mean, I don't really see who else gonna beat them. I mean, Miami maybe, but yeah. But
I don't believe that because Milwaukee, as of right now, until Giannis develops a better overall shot, teams have him figured out, especially in the playoffs. They have him figured out. Let him try to shoot them threes. He'll go 3 for 75 behind the 3-point strike, but just don't let him get to the basket as much as you can. He has no mid-range jumper. And then Miami, they're going to be better than Miami.
And as far as beating Giannis just ran into the teams that was committed to defense. Because last year, Miami committed to defense. The year before was Toronto. And they was up. People forget that they were up 2-0 on Toronto. And then Kawhi said, no more of this.
We ain't having it.
They're being 4 straight.
Hey, but yeah, I'm excited for this NBA season because KD is where he is. Now we're just looking to see what happened with James Harden. Is he staying in Houston or is he going somewhere else? Because if James Harden end up going to New Jersey, all right, Kyrie, guess what? You're third.
Hey, you number 3.
Brooklyn.
You're number 3.
Yeah, that's gonna nuke that team if you get them two together.
Yeah, for sure.
Because
Kyrie,
they both gotta have the ball.
Right.
Kyrie believes he is elite, and he is not a point guard that distributes the ball.
He had a hard time being a number 2 to arguably, to one of the players that's thought of as possibly the greatest player ever.
Yeah. Right.
And he couldn't be number 2 to him.
Right.
So he ain't gonna want to be number 3.
Right. That's what I thought about when I first heard about that James Harden maybe trade to New Jersey. It's like, well, all right, Kyrie, you're number 3.
Brooklyn, bitch.
What I said, New Jersey, same thing. Yeah, the Brooklyn. I've been saying New Jersey the whole time, huh?
You showing your age, bro. You showing your age.
Yeah.
It's just like the Chargers. I keep calling them San Diego.
I still say San Diego Chargers.
It's gonna take me about 10 years to know that the Raiders is Vegas. So.
I know, right?
Oh yeah. Well, take their own coach. He had to change his hat the other night. He had on the LA head. So,
hey, man. But like I said, I thought about the Nets with Harden going there, and my first question is, well, like Al made a great point. Kyrie and Harden dribble a lot, but will Kyrie's ego allow him to be an effective and the best type of number 3 that New Jersey needs? I mean, not New Jersey, but damn Brooklyn. That the Nets need. The Nets.
No, they just told you the man had a problem with being the number 2 to the number 1.
I know.
Being the number 1 in the world ever. Like, no. You think you're gonna do that to James Harden?
You think Kyrie go sit in the coffin corner and wait for the ball to shoot 3?
Man, what are we talking about?
No, they've been fighting.
Right. We have yet to see how it looks with him and KD.
Right. That trade will work.
Oh. The government got him.
Yeah.
I'm about to say, yeah.
I'll say that again, Sam. The government got you.
I was going to say, yeah, with the only way that trade will work is if Kyrie is somehow involved in moving too.
And send his ass to Phoenix. Well, no, don't send him to Phoenix. That's gonna mess up Devin Booker now.
Man, this ain't gonna. I don't see how adding James Harden adds value to that team unless Kyrie's not there.
Now, James Harden going to Philly is kind of interesting.
Yeah, I mean, that'll make sense. I mean, because that's. I mean, you got Ben Simmons, a primary ball handler, but he could also play a different kind of way. He could play that slasher kind of role.
Right.
So, I kind of like kind of similar to what. Yeah, he could kind of be similar to what Russell Westbrook was with Harden. You know, Harden creating the space, and then Simmons exploiting it, penetrating. So it could work.
Yeah, again, when you think about, having Simmons as a guard in that offense versus Russell Westbrook out there trying to get 28 a night.
Yeah. He's trying to get 28. He's trying to get 28 in the first half.
Right.
Ben Simmons
and one shot.
Shoot a 3. He won't.
Yeah.
His game is all about getting to the basket. And James Harden, his game is 3s, layups, and free throws.
So basically, what you're saying is Ben Simmons don't pull out. That's what you saying.
Well, you always gotta go too far, bro. You always go too far, bro. You always go too far, bro.
It's always going good to my ass, Cumberland. Hey, all in all, what we saying in this weekly rant to Kyrie Irving in the famous words of Mr. Grant, BYAQ. Be your ass quiet. Be your ass quiet. Hey, man. All right. So, like we said, quick recap.
Man, 05 lost, bro. What are we doing, man? Go ahead, man.
Quick recap. 05 Texas versus 12 Alabama. 2012 Alabama actually came out on top of 05 Texas. They had better numbers. Then we had 01 Miami versus 08 Florida. 01 Miami has the first sweep of every category. So 01 Miami moves on to the next round. So like we said, next week we have 2013 FSU versus 1996 Florida and 2018 Clemson versus 1997 Michigan with our dog Charles Woodson. And we want to give a shout out to our best friend Ed Reed. You know
Oh
what I'm
yeah.
talking about, Sam? That's our best friend. We took a picture with dog. That's our best friend. So
Man,
Even though he disagreed with me about the Peyton Manning Tom
yeah,
Brady thing,
he
but
did. He
but
did.
but it's all good. It's all
Appreciate
good.
it.
That's
Appreciate
your
it.
homeboy Sam.
Hey, I mean he gave me an out because he said well it could be, he gave one of those hedging answers. He said, well, it could be either one, but I would go with Tom Brady. So he gave me an out so I could still argue. But I mean, how you gonna argue with Ed Reed though?
Right. Hey,
you
man.
right, dog. You right.
Hey, man. I appreciate y'all boys once again. We brought that fight again. I'm sure we're gonna have a lot of commentary in the comments and stuff. Keep it clean, people. Keep it clean. These are only jokes. You ain't got to take it personal. So with that being said, he's Sam Dixie. He's Doc Love. He's Javard Grant. I'm Joseph Ward. Remember, y'all support The Fix on Patreon at patreon.com/The Fix. Your proceeds will go to helping to build up our platform and allow us to be able to give more back into the communities that we live in, because we don't just talk stuff. We make sure we get out into the community and do things. So that's where the proceeds will go to. www.freedomtrainradio.com is the website. Y'all can check us out. We're on all major podcast platforms. On YouTube, like, comment, subscribe, and make sure you share and hit that notification bell, so every time we drop an episode, you know what time it is. And YouTube, stop hating on us, because that video last week did not violate community guidelines. How you gonna talk about a video violate community guidelines when I showed a video that's on YouTube? Stop that. So with that being said, man, 2 fingers in the air like a player. We up out of here.